Welcome back to HGC North America. We're currently Tempo Storm stand 2-0 over No Tomorrow and are looking to close out the series with a clean 3-0.
Yeah, it's No Tomorrow really, they have to find it within them. Granted, as we said before, they are playing with their subs, so, you know, maybe not in full form, but either way, it is a David and Goliath story here, even if they had their entire squad to be able to try and take out Tempo Storm. And for now, Tempo looks very normal, not making any huge changes. They're just playing their game, and they end up winning it.
But No Tomorrow can use this time still, even if they're not looking at this as a victory, as a way of growing as players, really testing out some of the strategies that they've come up with and using it versus one of the best, actually the best in North America as the standings currently are.
Yeah, it is. It's a great learning tool, at least for these guys to be able to try and better themselves, even with the sub. There's a lot to be able to learn just in rotations and decision-making. Like, oh, look, they double ganked on top, and then they transitioned to Haka towards mid. Like, is this something we want to consider on our own? Very good tools to be able to learn and be able to use, but it's not over yet. We still have one more for Tempo Storm if they are going to be able to secure this win.
And looking at game number 3, we'll see which battleground will be on. Once again, No Tomorrow has the choice of first pick or battleground choice. We started on Cursed Hollow and then went to Dragonshire, No Tomorrow's fave. It didn't quite work out for them there, so they are going to opt for first pick, allowing Tempo Storm to pick Towers of Doom. This should, in theory, play out a lot like we saw Tempo Storm in game number 1 on Cursed Hollow.
Yeah, with I think the fall set is going to be something that No Tomorrow has to be considering, have to be looking towards. Do we want to be able to take this away? Maybe not as staple as Gale Force Esports, but in general, fall set has been hard to beat across the board in North America. The playstyle of the soaking, there hasn't been efficient enough of initiations to be able to, punish opponents whenever they're soaking into those side lanes. And because of that, I think he is slowly will make his way towards the top of the draft.
Actually, within, we're looking at Assassins of North America win rates.
Yeah.
Except for those niche picks like Tracer, Nazebo, who is technically a specialist but plays still in a damage dealer. Falstad, at the beginning of today, did have the highest win rate as the Assassin, 78% of his 23 games. He has risen a lot, and he has emphasis, especially in Korea, the region that we look at when we're looking at who has a true understanding of the meta and who is a strong hero. And we talked about it last week. Falstad is a very strong pick, and especially here on Towers of Doom, but so are all of the other global options.
You want to know something really interesting that kind of just a phenomenon that kind of happens is like when looking at things like the Falstad, who's been almost untouched for a large portion of time, and yet his fluctuation in value his value and the fluctuation of value seems to change, not only within region, but then maps, but overall, he's been towards the top. Tassadar is another one that has been that kind of consistent towards the top, but they'll have moments where we cannot deal with this, has to be removed 100%, and then other times where somehow, for like a month, we'll just make it to where we don't even look at Falstad for some reason. Even though these heroes do not see that many changes and are objectively considered, some of the most valuable, for some reason, they go from first pick, first ban to like, maybe we'll go 2 weeks without drafting them. Then we'll go right on back. It's just, it's a strange little thing that we see.
Tyrael's another one of those, but right now Tyrael is not doing well, at least in HGC NA. So he's the one I'm going to have my eye on as we start looking towards things like the Clash, the mid-season brawl,
Absolutely.
how Tyrael will factor in, because it always seems like he's not picked.
No, he's
and then
not.
All of a sudden you go to a global competition and it's like, oh my gosh, did you guys know that Tyrael has sanctification?
Yeah, it turns out everybody gets a divine shield like in this circle. And then they were like, wait, you gotta be kidding. And you're like, no, stand in it. Come on, check it out. It's crazy. No, yeah, it's the Tassadar, the Zeratul, the Falstad, and the Tyrael. Those are the ones that always come back at international play. But it's just amazing to see their adjustments of value within a region. And talking about the, adjustments in value in a region, our game, in fact, here, Valeera was not only banned out, but then first pick Zeratul on the side of No Tomorrow. They're making that adjustments. Tempo Storm, though, that means they have the option to be able to pick up the Falstad. I think they very much will. And so, No Tomorrow here. Ragnaros, it's got to be Falstad, right?
I would think it'd be Falstad too, but maybe wanting to make sure that they can get Malfurion. I was also going to say maybe an ETC if Tempo Storm want to go back to focusing on warriors, getting their warrior over No Tomorrow. But love that from No Tomorrow, banning out Valeera, picking Zeratul, target on Psalm, making sure that they have gotten rid of all of the heroes from Psalm that they just do not want to put up with.
The question is, can they, put up with Ragnaros, the man who has been making lava waves really everywhere, since he's been able to be picked at the competitive level. Very strong on Towers of Doom, purely for his delay potential. And what he's going to be able to provide in that sense. This does leave, again, the Falstad available. The Malfurion remove on the side of Tempo Storm over the Falstad is going to be solid in the sense that no Zeratul Malfurion Mega Mambo combo, you know, directly out of the Void. Diablo's up, but they go with the ETC. There's no way. They go with the Tychus even over the Falstad. If there is 0% chance No Tomorrow does not ban Falstad, right? Team?
It would seem that way, yes.
Okay.
Tempo Storm now have a ban of their own. Last time we saw them in the position of having Malfurion, they banned Rhaegar, and they're looking at that again. So that No Tomorrow will have to maybe get a Brightwing if they want globals on Towers of Doom, maybe Karazim again for Tiger JK, an old comfort for him. No Tomorrow, if not Falstad, then what, Dahaka?
For No Tomorrow in terms of the bans? I mean, they may move towards that ban, but I do look more towards the Falstad for sure. Yeah,
What
Dahaka.
about Diablo, though? You already have Ragnaros, Malfurion, comboing that with Apocalypse. I mean, there's not Zeratul, so you don't have to worry about Void Prison along with.
Okay, so let's look at it this way. When looking at the problem, okay, so Diablo is going to be able to obviously be terrifying when it comes to the raw team fighting potential because that Wombo combo and everything else, but he doesn't complement the map. See, this is you were talking about the representation of like why do teams look towards Korea when it comes to the drafting? Because Korea does one thing better than every other part of the world when it comes to drafting, and it's a mixture of they look at how do we win team fights, but they also heavily consider what is the complements of the map. How do we consider that, right? And so this is a perfect example of removing the team fighting, but how much does it complement the map? Falstad always is a good team fighter, but he also thrives in the map, whereas the Diablo only thrives in the team fighting, and he doesn't accent the map itself, whereas other maps like Infernal Shrines, he would. So the value over the Falstad would outscale that of, for instance, the Varian or the Diablo, in my opinion.
Well, in this case, it was a Varian ban. No Tomorrow very focused on the aspects of Tempo Storm that Tempo have shown so far that No Tomorrow had problems dealing with, but it does seem to feel more like just a temporary bandage over the bigger issue that Tempo Storm has, these fairly large hero pools, their ability to draft to the map. They have now Leeming and Falstad who have good poke, they have a global, and adding Ragnaros to that, he is one who could stall for a long time, and if that is Cattle playing Ragnaros, I'm not sure how it will go. Some of the most effective Molten Cores we have ever seen, too, from any team. Yeah,
they did a very, very good job being able to use Ragnaros beyond the walking Sulfur Smash that we see other teams kind of transition towards. They also have Falstad and Li Ming, an insane amount of poke and sustain from Tempo Storm, delay out, just the wazoo at this point. No Tomorrow is going to go with the Karazim and, in fact, a Jaina. The Jaina Zeratul, Dream Squad that has existed for some time. Going with the Void into the Ring of Frost. Seven-sided strike is an option. It follows that, playstyle very, very well. The Void hits into the drop. You can isolate and make sure one person always gets slayed as they are rooted by Jaina. Eating the Blizzard. Tempo Storm now looking for the Warrior. Is it Diablo? They go with Johanna over even Diablo.
Well, Johanna can be just the frontline tank up in the front. She has condemned people to pull people into Malfurion's roots more effectively and follow up with Sulfur Smash. But besides all of that, it is just another hero that Fury, for a long time, has found a lot of value in. Blinds for Karazim.
That is the big thing. And the Tychus. There's a lot of auto attackers on the side of No Tomorrow's draft, more so than just like here's a backliner who does a little bit of auto attack damage. There's two people whose kits do very much depend on being auto attack centric. So the Johanna pick gaining a bit more value here than normal.
Fury is sort of on fire here in the NA scene. He was neck and neck with Justing for who was going to be the top KDA for a Warrior in NA HGC. But after last weekend and their ability to take a victory over Team 8, Fury's now at the top, unless you count Crowan. And that's where the question always is, right? We go back to the Gilly math of who do we count this? How many times has he played? Is it more? We'll just subtract 2, and I think it's still Fury. In that case, Fury now has the highest KDA in all of NA when it comes to the Warriors.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a fair way. It is really difficult to be able to judge with, again, Crowan from Gale Force Esports and being that weird hybrid of a role that he's going to be able to fill. But Fury, it makes sense. He's been at the top of North America for a very, very long time, even longer than most of the players of Tempo Storms themselves. So you know, a very formidable warrior player and one that's long-lasting. He's been around since the actual formation of the scene. He's one of the few players has been from beginning up until current, and very well deserved. He's a great guy.
And June, the other side, the support, highest KDA of all the supports in NA, HGC, and highest in his team as well. So June's making the plays.
Everybody doubts the supports, but in the end, they're the carries. They are. They very much are. They're such an underestimated
Unbiased.
role.
Hashtag no bias.
Hashtag no bias. No, I think all the roles have a huge influence on the game, but there's such an underestimated role. Either way, we in fact have game number 3 here on Towers of Doom between Tempo Storm and No Tomorrow.
Here we go once again into the series between Tempo Storm and No Tomorrow. Tempo Storm only need this victory to close out the series. It'd be a clean one at that. And going back to something that we recognize for Tempo Storm is going to these big battlegrounds, showcasing their ability to split soak with the global, be able to just run the battleground and then get ahead and experience that way.
Yeah, it's a really difficult thing to be able to deal with, and very few teams, and you know, Falstad's win rate isn't that high just because, you know, we see teams like GFE and Tempo Storm work so well with them. I mean, it helps, but it's just, he is so good in that global, in that split soaking potential, and it's so hard to punish effectively is the biggest difficulty here. No Tomorrow, we frequently see drafts like the Zeratul to be able to deal with it, yes. The question is, can they, you know, or do they see the fight, initiate the fight, and execute it fast enough for the global, the flight of Falstad, the gust potential to come in? Are they really going to be that on point? So No Tomorrow here has a lot to prove, and it's going to start here with Cawthon as he is going to get caught out. E from Psalm, not enough. So the 3 versus 3 going in favor of No Tomorrow. Very well done. As Jason comes up with the Q, oh! How many times have we seen Tychus's open up with nades?
Yeah. No, not a second kill, but still a kill nonetheless for No Tomorrow. A good way to start, especially since they do have that early game damage potential, a kill potential even from Jaina and the like. But No Tomorrow are banking a lot on their combo. Having Zeratul with Jaina follow-up, maybe even a 7-second strike too. We'll have to see what Tiger JK wants to go for. Nova barely gets away, at least for now. Fury's still chasing, and rotating in is Cawthon Luck. Now Tiger JK.
He was punching away.
He's all right. He's in a good spot. But yeah, No Tomorrow banking are on a lot, and there's going to be tools from Tempo Storm to stop the combo from happening, and that'll be key. Things like Twilight Dream and Gust, like you mentioned.
Yeah, they're very, very powerful tools here.
Wave of Force even.
Yeah.
Just ways of getting Jaina away from the Void Prison.
Yeah, anything you can do to, you know, just really be able to cripple those members is going to be an absolute core part of Tempo Storm's strategy here into this game. Triple Shrine phase up in 15 seconds. As always, Tempo Storm applying pressure to the map, abusing the sappers onto the bottom half after the adjustments of the spawn times. That's been kind of the go-to, if you will, for most teams. Daihun Casanova patiently waiting. Instantly throws out the Q. There is going to be Cawthon. Very good game sense. Top right's going to be channeled now by Tychus, untested by Tempo Storm. Bottom's going to be captured by Tempo Storm. So now top left's all we got left.
Yeah, we tend to see these teams who don't have a global just go for the 2 in the top, but it's risky when you have to invade the way that No Tomorrow have to. They have at least pushed all the members of Tempo Storm out, but Molten Core can always come into play. They still have Falstad who goes in. Molten Core now has been used, and that's a long time where No Tomorrow has to just withstand a lot of the poke damage from Tempo Storm, and that is risky, especially versus Li Ming and versus Ragnaros. So No Tomorrow being pushed off does look like they want to continue to try to contest this, but Trees is getting pretty low. Trees is almost dead. Trees goes down.
Oh my goodness, that kill there is going to send Tempo Storm leagues ahead here as they now have the tools to be able to zone off No Tomorrow. A level advantage, shot advantage now moving into their favor. Tempo Storm here doing what they do best on Towers of Doom. Now it looks like they're going to be invading the Sapper camp. And this is what we've seen time and time again from Tempo Storm. It's just the raw pressure they put onto the map, and when they, you know, have the Falstad 2 in their hands, it comes down to soak and it comes down to the pressure. Speaking of the Falstad, though, he is going to be dead in the top lane there. Another good gank. So it looks like No Tomorrow's response to, you know, the Falstad is, what if we just kill him over and over again? That works out early on, 1, 2 times like it is now, but eventually that bottom pressure is going to be far stronger because No Tomorrow's getting a kill. but they aren't sieging up directly after. They aren't capitalizing on the lack of a man. It's just experience. But Tempo Storm getting that pressure in bottom, eventually that's shots on your core. That's experience of converting the bell tower. It just, you know, adds up a little bit more. So, you know, fool me once, fool me twice here on the side of No Tomorrow. The question is, the third one, if it is going to be able to work out. Daihu ends up going down on this invade. Cattle throwing out the spells, and Tempo Storm picks up another sap.
The speed and precision with which Tempo Storm moved down to take No Tomorrow sappers, and then in losing Falstad, just waited, played the patient game, moved back as soon as No Tomorrow came for the invade. They knew that it was a possibility. Tempo Storm played it safe. As soon as Daihu went for a power slide, Kothan with a quick trigger finger barrel rolled away, and then all of a sudden, ETC gets caught out. Jaina will go down again. June getting another Moonfire kill. And a quick 4:30-minute bell tower is a great start to this game for Tempo Storm.
You guys doubt the supports. June single-handedly confirmed that kill. I'm not kidding. That was a max range of Loon's Grace. Perfect.
You're trying to convince me. I play supports team.
My mind was blown at how well he was able to execute that root combo. You know, the orb came out from Li Ming. She was a little bit slow. Didn't expect him to be didn't have the faith into June. June hits it, not going to be able to confirm the kill. He's like, don't worry, I've got this too. What else do you need? You need heals? You need damage? You need CC? I've got it all. That's the support life that is going to be June on Tempo Storm, at least so far. 36 health remains on the core of Tempo Storm, but only 27 on No Tomorrow. Tempo Storm, surprisingly enough, in fact, has gotten the bell tower on bottom. They got sapper pressure. And this is the focus that we saw No Tomorrow put on the top. It just doesn't match that of Tempo Storm onto bottom.
I wondered if Psalm was going to go into Molten Core, but instead the rest of the team's going to be there. There's 3 members. Falstad, of course, still soaking in the top, and Ragnaros is making sure that they can continue to get the mid soak. It's really important for Tempo Storm now that they try to get 10. Fury dives behind the kill zone to condemn Treason, and Trees almost goes down again. Trees having such a difficult time with any follow-up damage. Should Daihu hit a good power slide, because he's Jaina, and Jaina, your positioning is absolutely key, and at all times, June has a watchful eye on if Jaina steps too far forward and can hit her with the Elun's Grace Entangling Roots.
Clear here for No Tomorrow. They're still, you know, such a difficult position with the bottom bell tower in favor of Tempo Storm. Another sapper on the bottom half now for Tempo Storm. As we're running, it's got to be 6 at this point, it feels like. This is just what they do here on Towers of Doom. Again, ever since the changes when it comes to the spawn time on the sappers, if you can control this in the long run, are able to hold it. The original version of this strategy that we saw was actually with Sergeant Hammer out of Korea. And since then, it's kind of been a staple, whether or not Hammer's involved or not. It's a, you know, at least in North America, not too big of a focus. Kothan, I think that's Vance, I believe.
Just bouncing up and down, hanging out. Here comes the next 3 sappers. 4 members of Tempo Storm along to escort. 1 goes through. There's 2 more. 3 shots. Still, this bell tower stays in favor of Tempo Storm, but No Tomorrow has heroics. They know this is the time to fight. They cannot let Tempo Storm snowball any farther than this already gotten. Yeah,
and there's going to be the 2-man void. Odin's going to be dropped. Ring is the follow-up. Ends up landing onto June. Twilight Dream was dropped. The silence did hit. Good response onto Zeratul, but the palm is going to be there. Daihu's got the mosh pit only onto 1. 2 people down now for Tempo Storm. Everybody on the side of No Tomorrow sitting low, though, trying to retreat. 3 for 1 is the trade, as No Tomorrow has a sign of life in this series. 4 for 1. Beautiful initiation and execution. You know, you needed to stop to the snowball. That was straight melting it. Very well done.
Jaina was able to move into position. It only hit Malfurion, though. Later on, Malfurion, once he gets Ice Block, may be not the optimal choice for No Tomorrow. It just depends how well they can execute all of their abilities like that. But for now, No Tomorrow gets a massive comeback in this game. Exactly what they needed. They take back their bell tower. They did get the altar first, knowing that the respawn timers for Tempo Storm were low. They didn't want to risk getting the bell tower back and then the altar for the extra shot. So it's still sitting at 33 versus 24, but No Tomorrow now caught up in experience, and that's the most important thing for them, is they've gotten not only the experience back, but their presence in this game.
Yeah, that was just a huge moment for No Tomorrow, and the fact that they were able to convert that bell tower, weren't, you know, crippled to the pressure. The most important part now for No Tomorrow is to not let whatever happened during that beginning half of the game, that first 8 minutes, to really re-happen. And Tempo Storm already starting back up with the sapper pressure on the bottom. I really want to see No Tomorrow respond It doesn't have to be necessarily going to bottom itself and saying, hey, you know what? Screw you guys. We're going to take this fight down here. We're going to start taking the Sappers. It could be on top, but wherever it is to stop this rinse and repeat cycle that gave that control to Tempo Storm in the first 8 minutes.
Sappers starting to move into bottom, and nobody quite in the position to stop them just yet. So these are going to run in and deal about halfway down. So Furious Smash and Blessed Shield were used to try to get that kill on Tiger JK, which didn't happen. So Tiger stays alive, and now No Tomorrow can try to get the fight. One Void Prison hits on 2 members. Bringer Frost to follow up. The root is there for Ragnaros, but he was level 13. He tried to stay alive with cauterized wounds as long as he could, but it wasn't going to happen. Malfurion is the next takedown. Fury's in trouble. Has Iron Skin popped. It won't be enough. That'll be a 3rd kill off of that combo. Once again, No Tomorrow wins the team fight.
As these 2 shrines are going to be spawning, this is a huge momentum. They might even have the option to be able to transition towards boss. That in total would be 12 shot conversion there, allowing them to finally actually get in control of this game when it comes to at least core health. But the most important thing, we talked about the Falstead and the picking a fight, being efficient with the fight over the Falstead so we can't respond, get the global pressure on the map. We've seen a lot of Zeratools as an attempt to that strategy, but no team has not only picked the Zeratul, but just forced the fight as fast as they possibly need to. Good Molten Core is going to be able to buy time here on the top left shot, so those are still left up here. But you know what I mean? With No Tomorrow, they are instantly taking it, dropping the ring they're going for as fast as possible. Gus came out, but it was way too late in that last skirmish, and that's exactly what we needed to see from No Tomorrow.
Yeah, Casanova has been the player that we've been really impressed with from No Tomorrow, especially because he does go and take those risks as a new player to do that, especially up against Tempo Storm, to go in consistently so far, get 2-man Void Prisons that enable Talking Trees to follow up with Ring of Frost has been great. So Furious Smash goes down, Trees drops Palm, just barely gets procced. It's not going to matter. Jaina will go down, and Falstad's there. Tiger JK jumping back in. Zeratul's out. Karazim will go down. Now Daihu and Jason are in a really bad spot. Jason does not run and gun. Cattle will make sure that he gets taken out too.
Yeah, that was a great invade, and now the inverse when it comes to the results of the fight, where Tempo Storm losing 1 before members for No Tomorrow. Sappers moved in. The root is laid down. Daihu's got a power slide right on out, but either way, this bottom bell tower once again is in full control for Tempo Storm. The experience is going to be closing in towards that 16 talent tier as well. So, you know, there was that moment for No Tomorrow, but after that last fight, they seem to be about exactly where they started this, you know, the early parts of this match.
Yeah, for Tempo Storm, it comes down to if they can get an engage onto No Tomorrow when they know that some of those pivotal cooldowns are down.
Yeah, Void was on 2 seconds when Zeratul died.
Exactly. Being able to go in and recognize that was huge for Tempo Storm, and Tempo Storm is the one that still has the advantage when it comes to the lanes, and they make quick work of this bottom bell tower again. So now No Tomorrow, like you said, back in the same place that they were earlier in the game, but if they can get 16, not lose too many shots during this transition, then should be still in a good place to be able to get back into team fights.
Yeah, there is going to be the Sappers moving up. What happens of them? Blizzard's going to be laid down. Root comes out, Condemn as well onto Daihu. So Furious Smash, that was a resource that wasn't necessary on the side of Tempo Storm, and actually may cost them the fact that those are going to be on cooldown now for the next Shrine phase. Now, No Tomorrow, if they manage to be able to pick up the 16, has a huge opportunity. Blessed Shield, 42. Sulfurous Smash, 40. And they are going to be now going on to Koth, forcing the Gust now at 58. This is, oh my goodness, such a colossal moment now for No Tomorrow in this Shrine phase. They should be able to take this fight. June starts the channel. The delays there, Gilly.
Som drops down. Zeratul goes down. He's used Void Prism. It's only on 1. Trees is moving in as much as he can, but may pay for it with his life. Fury's on the chase to take him down. Som Trees gets the Divine Palm, and that saves his life. Tiger JK is going to dash to him. The problem is even though Tempo Storm did use those heroic abilities, they still used them and were able to maintain control of the bottom bell tower, which nets them an additional shot for each altar that they get. And No Tomorrow just now gets 16. They went in for the fight. Casanova got taken out just as he dropped Void. It wasn't the most impactful Void. And then Jaina still wanted to make Ring of Frost work with it, even though the fight was not on the best of terms for No Tomorrow.
And that was under the category, I think we agreed that was a super deleted?
Super deleted.
That, in fact, was a super deleted. Okay. We witnessed another reset. Tiger JK on the retreat. Barely survives as the No Tomorrow is already going to be down 2 members. The rest sitting at almost 1 HP. Casanova, the only one that's healthy. Sappers on bottom have trickled in towards the core. 5 shots here, 4 left on the boss, and this looks like GG, game number 3. Going over to Tempo Storm. The question is, does Zeratul have what it takes? I'm going to let you guys in a surprise factor. 1 versus 5, the answer to that is still no.
No Void Prison either, even to help. But Casanova will do his job diligently and try his best. GG's for Tempo Storm. The final shot is fired, and Tempo Storm takes a 3-0 victory in this series over No Tomorrow. Now, importantly for them, that puts them at 5-0. They are 1 series away from a guaranteed spot at the Western Clash here that will be in Katowice.
Yeah, very well done by Tempo Storm. Very obviously well earned. More importantly for me in that series, though, was No Tomorrow. The fact that we saw the steady climb of skill. Even, that game they had debatably a lead for even a small period of time, showing that adjustments there, even though they had the subs. Just, huge shout out to No Tomorrow and the fact that they were able to put up those games and see market improvement as the games went on.
Yeah, between the players as synergy and especially in their drafts too. They understood what the key tools were for Tempo Storm. It's just that Tempo Storm had backup tools for that as well. But great play from No Tomorrow, and we'll see them in more series as the HGC continues. But we're waiting to get Sam on the phone to talk to him a little bit.
About the Valeera build?
I'm going to ask about Valeera. Sure. Oh, you want to ask about the Valeera build?
Yeah, just the, the 13 build with the, not the 13 build, it's the, so moving into the queue, ambush there, and then with the 13 specifically. Originally, when I saw that build, I just, questioned where it was going to come in viability when it comes to competitive play. The fact that it was busted out as the only Valeera yet, it'd be nice to be able to get a little insight on that. So we'll see if we can get any of those answers for you guys at home while we quickly get on phone with him.
And our next series is going to be so amazing. Superstars and Team Naventic, both of these teams are in the position where they really have to win every single series now to be able to contest that 3rd spot. But I think we're ready for our interview, so we'll hold off on conversing for that now. Hey, Sam, congratulations.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, let's start off with right at the bat, or start off on the bat, however that goes, with Valeera. Talk to us about your Valeera, where you think that she might be viable now that she is available in HGC.
We're still unsure where exactly she fits in and how strong she is. We just kind of wanted to try her out in the game and see how she felt, and she felt pretty good.
When you typically play Valeera, do you think that that build that you went is kind of like, if you will, the standard, or is that more of like a situational one depending on the map or the game? Just more than anything, not necessarily what your exact build is every time, but do you consider what you did as like, the mold for this norm in the meta?
So a lot of Valeeras have been going different builds. I've been seeing a lot of different builds, and I know a lot of the Korean players, they like the energy build with the Vigor at 1 and the Fatal Finesse at 7. Personally, I don't like the energy build just because it feels so clunky to replay. Like, you're supposed to be the stealthy roaming ganker, but you're sitting around collecting globes or like trying to W people.
Okay.
I don't know. It feels clunky. I like Crippling Poison. It gives her, early game skirmish power and gives her like a really good engage if you can get like your blade flurry slow on multiple people. So that's the build I like.
We know that you guys have taken a little while to get used to the previous meta. How are you guys feeling about your understanding of the meta going into your series versus Gale Force Esports later on this weekend?
I think we're in a pretty good spot in terms of draft. In terms of Gale Force, though, they've always got like weird things up their sleeves, so that we're gonna have to watch out for that. But yeah, I think we're pretty comfortable right now.
Any other thoughts on how that series might go? Who you're looking out for from that team specifically?
Yeah, I think out of all the teams, even though Teammate has the 2nd best record, I still respect Gale Force a little bit more just because they're a little bit more established. They've got more experience, and we've been scrimming them a lot in the past, so it'll be a good series.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again for beating No Tomorrow. Good luck versus Gale Force Esports this weekend. Do you have any shout-outs?
Thank you very much.
Sorry, do you have any shout-outs before we go?
Yeah, shout out to Twitch chat. I brought the Mickey Sheets back. I know that you guys have been dying for it, so shout out to Twitch chat. Shout out to Tempo Storm. Shout out to my team. Good games today. A little bit sloppy the last 2 games. And you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch at Twitter/SamHots.
Right, thanks again.
Thank you.
Man, if that was sloppy. I don't know.
I mean, there was a moment where their opponents had a small lead.
Yeah.
It lasted it seemed less than a minute, but that, when you are the best within a region or want to be the best within the region, you have to be absolutely critical of yourself. And it made me happy to be able to hear that coming out from him. From a viewer standpoint and from our standpoint, it's like, okay, really? Like, there was only a moment. But, I mean, I would view it, once you get good enough to that, if you can beat them 3-0, I start going 3-level lead every game. And if you don't, then you consider that sloppy. Like, that is the mentality that they should have, and it's very satisfying to see that out of Tempo Storm.
We know Tempo Storm has always been that way, very focused on and diligent on continuing their improvement. But that closes out our first series. When we return, we'll have Superstars versus Niventic.
Orphaned as a young child, Valeera Sanguinar has led a life of hardship and adventure. She forged iron bonds of friendship with Brawl Bearmantle and Varian Rin while fighting alongside them as a gladiator. Even after becoming Varian's advisor and bodyguard, she held on to her independence, which she still maintains as a member of the secretive Uncrowned. Now in the Nexus, Valeera is loyal to neither the Horde nor the Alliance, but to her friends and herself. Valeera is a quick and deceptive assassin who strikes from the shadows with deadly combo attacks. Valeera uses energy instead of mana to cast her abilities. Unlike mana, energy constantly replenishes at a rapid rate. She also generates combo points when using certain abilities on enemy heroes, which she spends to make her finishing move much more powerful. Valeera's first ability is Sinister Strike. Valeera dashes forward, striking all enemies in a straight line. If she hits an enemy hero, she stops immediately, generates a combo point, and the ability's cooldown is significantly reduced. With Blade Flurry, Valeera can damage multiple enemies at once by spinning her blades in an area around her, generating a combo point for each hero she hits. Eviscerate, Valeera's finishing move, can only be used if she has combo points. Casting this ability spends all of her points to slash an enemy with both blades at once. The more combo points she spends, the greater damage Eviscerate deals. Valeera's trait is Vanish. Just like the WoW Rogue ability, activating Vanish immediately places Valeera in stealth, granting her an entire new set of abilities. All of her abilities in stealth generate combo points and bring her out of stealth when she uses them. Ambush is Valeera's signature combat opener, stabbing an unsuspecting enemy with her daggers for heavy damage. If you need crowd control, Cheap Shot allows Valeera to stun an enemy while also dealing a small amount of damage. Garrote is a particularly vicious opener. Along with its initial damage, this ability silences an enemy and deals additional damage over time. The first of Valeera's heroic abilities is Smoke Bomb. She creates a cloud of smoke at her current location. As long as she remains in the cloud, she takes reduced damage and can't be revealed, even while attacking and using her abilities. When using Cloak of Shadows, Valeera shrouds herself in darkness and becomes unstoppable. Valeera also takes reduced ability damage and clears herself of all existing damage over time effects. Valeera excels at isolating powerful enemy heroes and shutting them down. Cheap Shot and Garrote, along with several of her talents, give her plenty of options for keeping the biggest threat to her team on lockdown. Be on the lookout for opportunities to use Valeera's abilities to their greatest potential. Use Blade Flurry when enemies are grouped up to instantly generate 3 combo points. Sinister Strike's dash can be used for its mobility as well as its attack, allowing you to dodge skill shots or escape from a fight. Vanish gives you access to powerful opening attacks, but don't be afraid to start fights out of stealth, then vanish mid-combat to trip up your opponents and continue racking up the damage. When fighting against Valeera, try to knock her out of stealth so that her options are limited. Valeera's heroic abilities focus on survivability. Smoke Bomb is great when fighting multiple enemies in melee range, and Cloak of Shadows helps Valeera avoid being locked down or focus fire. Both abilities can be used from stealth without revealing her, making them powerful tools for setting up team fights or assassinating dangerous enemy heroes. As a legendary rogue and a master assassin, Valeera isn't afraid to slice and dice her foes from the shadows or face to face. Make sure to leave us a comment and subscribe to Heroes of the Storm on YouTube and around the web, and we'll see you in the Nexus.
I'll see you in the shadows.